The House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeant at Arms.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privileges on the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by the Reverend Kathleen M. Sturgis, Vicar of St. John the Baptist Episcopal Church in Ivy, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, led by the gentleman from Colonial Heights, Mr. Cox.
Let us pray. Loving and gracious God, at the opening of this new day in the House of Delegates, we ask your blessing upon the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia and upon all their elected officials, particularly those in this legislative body in whom the people have placed their trust and confidence. Bestow upon these delegates wisdom, humility, and the ability to work together in the midst of conflicting interests and honest disagreements. Grant in them a vision of what our life together can be, so that abundance for some does not mean scarcity for others. And in all they do, this day and every day, may your will be done as they seek to serve the common good. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did no one get the memo that it's Friday?
The House will come to order.
Yeah, we did.
Members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I've examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates for January 14th, 2016. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39 are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communications?
Several reminders. Just reiterate once again that all requests for drafts, redrafts, and corrections to legislation to be introduced by next Friday's deadline must be delivered over to or made to the Division of Legislative Services by 5 p.m. today. Similarly, a 5 o'clock deadline is today for budget amendments that are due upstairs on the 9th floor to the appropriation staff. Finally, I would remind the body or advise, if you haven't checked your email, I've communicated with you about scheduling appointments for your composite photo. Dementi will be here next week, and we just need to get everyone's picture if you want to have it updated for those who've been here, or for certainly for the new members to have it. It'll be downstairs in the basement of the General Assembly building for your convenience, but you will need to actually schedule an appointment. Completes the announcements that I have, sir.
The gentleman from Charlottesville, Mr. Toscano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a brief point of personal privilege and introduction.
The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, joining us today to give the prayer is the Reverend Kathleen Sturgis, who's a vicar of St. John the Baptist Episcopal Church in Ivy, Virginia. Reverend Sturgis has served there since 2001. She was born in Walnut Creek, California, and came east after her undergraduate degree to earn her Master of Divinity at Yale Divinity School. Then she moved to Virginia, where she was ordained as an Episcopal priest in 1997. St. John's is very fortunate to have Reverend Sturgis be their leader. Her ministry and church community focuses on encouraging young and old, wealthy and poor, educated and illiterate, the aged and disabled, gay and straight, African American, white, Latinos, people of all color, to engage each other in celebrating that every individual contributes to the whole and is graced by God's great love. Beyond the Charlottesville area, Reverend Sturgis is about to take a seat on the executive board of the Episcopal Diocese of Virginia in just a few days, so she is really worth getting to know. I hope that you will extend her a warm welcome today.
Thank you. The gentlewoman from Bedford, Ms. Byron.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a motion.
Gentlewoman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I would move that House Bill 58 on page 20 of today's calendar be taken up out of order for the purpose of dispensing with the second and third constitutional readings so that the bill may be taken up by the House immediately.
Without objection, House Bill 58 is taken up out of order for the purpose stated by the gentlewoman. In addition, the gentlewoman from Bedford, Delegate Byron, moves that the second and third constitutional readings of House Bill 58 be dispensed. And your motion will allow the House to act on House Bill 58 immediately. The bill will be in an amendable and debatable fashion, and upon completion of the debate, if any, the proper motion will be to move for the passage of the bill. Shall the motion be agreed to? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The motion is agreed to. Gentlewoman from Bedford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Bill 58, which comes to you today, was a recommendation of the Health Insurance Reform Commission, and it was a measure that many of you may recall. We passed a bill to direct our Bureau of Insurance, who handles our insurance plans and policies, to change the definition of employer, a small employer, from an average of 50 employees to increase it to up to 100 employees. And we did that to conform with the federal legislation dealing with the Affordable Care Act. And the intent at the time was that the larger pool would be a benefit to the smaller businesses, and those businesses up to 100 employees, in order for them to capture this pool and maybe help alleviate some of the rising premiums that they were experiencing with the Affordable Care Act. However, it was noted and taken to the president from the small business group that what they thought was going to be of assistance was actually coming back with premiums that were going to rise in some areas as high as 50%. And the reason for that is a lot of the businesses were going to pull out of that definition and actually self-insure, because it was better for their companies and better for their employees to offer a different venue to offer this benefit to their employees. So with that, Congress got together, and in November they passed the PACE Act, which allowed states to go back to the other definition of small employer so that we could protect our small employers the best that we were able to. And the PACE Act was one of the only few things that the only thing the president signed that affected the Affordable Care Act legislation, and one that he recognized was going to be of benefit to our business community. So what this does is tell the Bureau of Insurance, because we cannot, by executive action, make this change in our code. So we are voting on this today to protect our small businesses from the rising premiums that they're seeing. It's not going to fix everything for our small businesses, but it is going to alleviate those concerns of the businesses that are in the 50 to 100. Small businesses come under a much more stringent rating when it comes to rating their employees. So this would be a great benefit to all of them. The reason for the emergency legislation, so you understand, is to try and get this as quickly on the governor's desk for signage because those plans took effect January 1, 2016. So in order to alleviate this on your other businesses, the insurance plans need to get new plans out for the February 1 market to try and help the rest of the business community. So, Mr. Speaker, I would move passage of House Bill 58.
The gentleman from Charlottesville, Mr. Scano.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaking of the bill,
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'll be brief, but I hope you can support this fine bill. It does prove, again, that occasionally Congress and the President can work together to fix some things that need to get fixed. And, when we focus on trying to fix things as opposed to trying to repeal things willy-nilly, we can get some good things done. So I hope you'll support this fine bill.
Shall the bill pass? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. The bill is passed. I'm going to step out of order just for a second and recognize a very distinguished guest in the back, Representative Robert Bobby Scott from Congress. The gentleman from Colonial Heights, Mr. Cox.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of a motion.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I would ask that we take out of order HJR 68 on page 10 of today's printed calendar and move adoption. I would like to speak to that motion.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, HJR 68 concerns the Colonial Heights boys volleyball team. A lot of you know I now have the distinguishment of being the third most senior member, and I've never had a state championship in Colonial Heights. So I am absolutely thrilled. I've been waiting forever. This is a very unique team. I actually got to see, I think, all their games except for 2 over the last 2 years, and they are truly exceptional. Chairman Jones will laugh because I actually left appropriations meeting in Northern Virginia, drove home, and then drove back. And so for Colonial Heights, this has been sort of a golden era for us. Last year, we had 3 undefeated boys teams. I don't think we've ever had 1. In baseball, tennis, and volleyball. Last year, the boys volleyball team went undefeated. We got knocked out in the regionals by Midlothian, who went on to be state champion. This year, we turned the tide. And we started off this year, we beat Midlothian the first game of the year. Then we beat James River. And for you know that James River, it's a very large school that's won state boys volleyball championships. They really overcame a lot of adversity. We got off to a great start. And then one of our players, Tyler Gingrich, who's our setter, got hurt. And I think he was actually in a boot for about 6 weeks. And he came back. And we actually went through and then won the state championship. Ironically, the great thing is, we actually beat Midlothian in the state finals. And here's what's sort of neat about it. Colonial Heights is a small community. We have 16,000 people. And my brother, who's up in the audience, who's superintendent, he has the real power in life. He actually let Colonial Heights out for half a day. So we played at the Siegel Center, and I went about an hour ahead of the game, and the line was out into the street of Colonial Heights supporters, which was really, really cool. I've had the chance to coach a lot of the young men up in the audience in baseball, et cetera. One of them is the state player of the year, and that's Noah Murdoch. He's going to pitch for UVA. I want y'all to know I coached him in baseball, and I've told him many times when, I know, I've told him many times when he's in the MLB and he's interviewed, just remember that Coach Cox taught him everything he knows. And very quickly, let me name some other people. I mentioned Noah was named Conference Region State Player of the Year. Stuart Crinkley, Tyler Gingrich was named First Team All-Conference, All-Region, All-State. Noah Sears, Noah Bryant, a kid named Cameron Cox who's rocking a bow tie in the name of G. Paul Nardo, who didn't wear his. And Dante Jennings were named First Team All-Conference and Second Team All-Regional. And so, Mr. Speaker, this is just a very special occasion for Colonial Heights. So I hope it'd be the pleasure of the House to give the Colonial Heights boys volleyball team, if they will stand, a nice round of applause.
We are delighted to have the members of the team here. We noticed that one did look an awful lot like the majority leader, but I had a chance to briefly talk to you all this morning. They're a great group of young men, and what a wonderful accomplishment for them. We haven't passed the resolution yet, though. I guess we better do that. Those in favor of adopting the resolution will please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Resolution is agreed to. Thank you. Gentleman from Salem, Mr. Habib.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for purpose of an introduction.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. And I want to, before I do that, I want to congratulate the majority leader on finally getting a state championship after 30 years. I think later this session, I'll be introducing my 30th state championship in 6 years. Mr. Speaker, I'm not looking to take credit for any of that, but we do welcome the majority leader to the club. It's about time. Mr. Speaker, in the gallery with us today is a group of freshmen students from Faith Christian School in the Roanoke Valley. If they'd rise. They're here with their teachers, as they are every year. Faith is a school of about 300 students with a rigorous classical curriculum. They've graduated 156 students in their 20 years of existence with a essentially 100% college matriculation rate. Mr. Speaker, I hope the body give them a warm house welcome.
Delighted to have the students with us today. Gentleman from Henrico, Mr. O'Bannon.
Rise for a calendar request.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, sir. On page 2, request HJR 22 and 23 go by for the day. And on page 9, HJR 42 by for the day.
Without objection, House Joint Resolution 22 and 23 by for the day. And on page 9, what was it? House Joint Resolution 42 by for the day. Gentleman from Henrico, Mr. Bagby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is with regret that I make this body aware that my seatmate, the gentleman from Portsmouth, is away on pressing personal business. I would ask that this body continue to keep Delegate Heretic family in prayer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The gentlewoman from Alexandria, Ms. Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker and members of this body, yesterday we heard comments on this floor that I believe do merit discussion. There were statements made about slavery, abolition, and the notion that the Black Lives Matter is being used as a comparison to a woman making her own health care choices about her health and body. I received calls, emails, texts from constituents, colleagues, and advocates sharing their outrage over what they saw as a step too far in comparing a harrowing part of our history that has had an impact on race relations still felt today with a woman making her own healthcare decisions in consultation with her doctor. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled in 1973 that women are guaranteed the right to privacy to make medical decisions concerning their own bodies. Speeches like the one we heard yesterday, are a tactic which has long been part of anti-choice movement strategy of using inflammatory racial arguments and deceptive claims to villainize abortion in communities of color. Abortion is a deeply personal decision for a woman and her family. Ultimately, decisions about whether to choose adoption, end a pregnancy, or raise a child must be left to a woman, her family, and her faith with counsel of a healthcare provider. 1 in 5 women have turned to Planned Parenthood at some time in her life for high-quality, confidential health care. In addition to providing safe, legal abortion, more than 90% of what Planned Parenthood does nationally is life-saving cancer screenings, dispensing birth control, STD testing, and treatment. Yet, yesterday, they were called a merchant of death on this floor, but in reality, they are a not-for-profit healthcare provider. There were many claims made against them, though only one need to look to PolitiFact.com to see the truth of those claims, researched by people who are trained to screen out political bias. After a rousing State of the Commonwealth that was full of hope and ideas, that we can work across the aisle, focusing on the new Virginia economy, education, and our veterans, I was shocked to hear such divisive rhetoric. The stakes for our economy here in Virginia are too high this year to drag the session into partisan squabbles and the deadlock we see across the Potomac and Washington. We must work together on issues that boost their economy and leave behind attacks on the women's privacy rights. I'm a daughter of a veteran and have been an advocate for the military and their families since I was a teenager. We have seen the governor effectively end veteran homelessness in the Commonwealth, and it is a great first step. However, we need to continue our focus on our veterans, concentrating on the care centers in Hampton Roads in Northern Virginia, as well as provide transition assistance for our veterans who seek to maintain a home in Virginia and assimilate into the civilian workforce. At the forefront of our policymaking must be a commitment to ensure that we, as a Commonwealth, are adapting to safeguard our prosperity and the prosperity of future generations. Now is the exciting time for prospects for economic growth. From proposals to Go Virginia regional grants and incentives, new research funding for universities and investment in the port, our governor has proposed a way forward. We continue to work with this body as we prepare our transportation infrastructure, reduce tolls and congestion that impact our working families. Together, we can make sure we pave the way forward and create programs and job training for jobs that exist today. While I will not leave an attack unanswered, I do think first and foremost, we are here to do the people's work and find a tradition, a way to stand up for what we believe in while working together to help make Virginia strong. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from Colonial Heights, Mr. Cox.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an additional introduction.
Gentleman has the
Mr.
floor.
Speaker, it's always dangerous when you do resolutions. I left out a very important person, and I want to make sure that I recognize him. Mark Lee was the coach of Colonial Heights. I've known Mark. Mark graduated in '74, and so I don't care. Yeah, I know. But Mark's done a great job with the team, and I want to make sure that he was state coach of the year, so it's not like he was just a small thing. So please give Mark a nice round of applause.
The gentleman from Powhatan, Mr. Ware.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on page 9 of today's calendar, there is a commending resolution for a gentleman that served in this chamber. There are a dwindling number in here who remember serving with John Watkins. I rise for an announcement. I guess I probably should have said that at the outset, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker.
He's been hired by the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Gentleman has the floor.
He is a man of many parts. That's true, Mr. Speaker. Retiring Senator John Watkins, I do have a commending resolution. There is a co-patron sheet which is going around. I would ask you to sign up, whether or not you served with him in this chamber, and of course he served down the hall in the other chamber as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from Henrico, Mr. Farrell.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion, and speaking to that, if I could.
The gentleman on the floor.
Mr. Speaker, the motion would be House Bill 378 on page 20. If we could refer that to the Appropriations Committee. And speaking to that, the bill is not in jeopardy. And nobody likes getting a visit from the chairman from the ninth floor, but I did this morning. He actually is a co-patron on the bill. Mr. Speaker, there is a budget amendment that the ink hasn't even dried yet for the bill, and I think he would just like that to dry and be put in proper posture before we keep putting the pedal to the metal on the bill. So that's all we're doing. The bill is in good shape. We've talked about it. We just got to follow the process of the House of Delegates.
That's what they told you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Without objection, House Bill 378 will be referred to the Committee on Appropriations. The gentleman from Fairfax, Ms. Fillicorn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a purpose, actually for a motion.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On page 19, I move to strike H.R. 69 and 70 for the purposes of introducing an HJR joint resolution at a later date.
Without objection, House Resolution 69 and House Resolution 70 will be stricken from the calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Hanover, Mr. Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise for an introduction and an announcement.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, with us at the Capitol today are many foster youth, their coaches and mentors from the Great Expectations program, which is based throughout the Virginia Community College system. We also have mentors and coaches from Project Life, which is an independent living program partnership between UMFS and the Virginia Department of Social Services for older foster youth in care. All these folks were brought to the Capitol today by Voices for Virginia's Children in order to allow these young people to speak with us, their legislators and administration officials, to share their ideas, experiences, and challenges related to aging out of the foster care system here in the Commonwealth. I'm very pleased that we have Delegate Lingenfelter, who's introduced important legislation that's related to this subject. These youth, their mentors and coaches, will be in House Room 1 immediately after adjournment. If you have an interest, if you serve on HWI or the Health Subcommittee on Appropriations, I encourage you to go down and spend a few minutes visiting with these foster youth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Visitors with us today. The gentlewoman from Westmoreland, Ms. Ransom.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a request.
Gentlewoman may state it.
I'd like to request the Journal reflect the gentleman, my seatmate from Washington, is away today due to pressing personal business.
Journal will so reflect. The gentleman from Stanton, Mr. Bell.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a request.
Gentleman has the floor.
May the Journal reflect that my seatmate, the gentleman from Tazewell, is away today on pressing personal business.
Journal will so reflect. The gentleman from Fauquier, Mr. Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of a motion.
Gentleman may proceed.
Thank you. I move that House Resolutions 51 through 58 be taken by for the day.
What page would they be?
Page 17, sir.
I don't have it on page. What page?
17. 17. 17 and 18.
Okay, without objection, House Resolution 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58 will go by for the day. Gentleman Hanover, Mr. Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purposes of a motion.
Gentleman has the floor.
I'd like to move that House Joint Resolution 53 on page 3 go by for the day.
Without objection, House Joint Resolution 53 by for the day. Gentleman Suffolk, Mr. Jones.
Speaker, I rise for an announcement.
Gentleman has the floor.
Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, in your inbox this afternoon will be the annual memo announcing the small group briefings that will begin next Tuesday. Carla has looked at all of your standing committee assignments, and she has tried to arrange for the non-members of the committee a time that is convenient when you wouldn't have a conflict with a standing committee. They will begin on Tuesday morning at 8, Tuesday afternoon at 2, And we have Wednesday at 8 and 3 and Thursday at 8 o'clock. If you cannot meet your scheduled time and you would like to come to one of those other times, we would certainly welcome you. We found these to be very helpful, and the questions that we received from the non-committee members are very instructive to us as we begin fashioning the budget. So wishing you all back. Have a wonderful weekend and see you next week.
Thank you. The gentleman from Halifax, Mr. Edmonds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
The gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, today in the House Gallery, or in one of the House rooms, we have with us Mr. Stephen Walker, Mayor of Charlotte Courthouse, Virginia, with a group of students from Southside Virginia Community College. They are here touring the Capitol. Mr. Speaker, if you would please join me in giving Mayor Walker and the students a warm House welcome.
We're delighted to have the students visiting with us today. Hope you enjoy your time in the Capitol. Gentleman from Virginia Beach, Mr. Tolley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a request.
Gentleman has the floor.
On page 4 of the calendar, can HJR 89 go by for the day?
Without objection, House Joint Resolution 89 by for the day. The gentleman from Prince William, Mr. Marshall.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Gentleman may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, when I was younger, in the early 1950s, my dad and I would listen to a radio program called Dragnet. And there was a gentleman on there named Sergeant Friday, AKA the actor Jack Webb. And inevitably during the program, he would be interviewing somebody and he would say something to the effect like, "Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts." Well, let me give you some of the facts about life. Dr. Eric Bleichschmidt, writing in 1978 in The Ontogenetic Basis of Human Anatomy, states, "Today it is known that the early stages of human development are strikingly different from the early developmental stages of all other species. Ontogeny is phenogenesis. We talk of human development not because of a jumble of cells, which perhaps initially is atypical, gradually turns more and more into a human, but rather because the human being develops from a uniquely human cell. There is no stage in human development prior to which one could claim that a being exists with not yet human individuality. On the basis of anatomical studies, we know today that no developmental phase exists that constitutes a transition from the not yet human to the human. But is it really facts that we're arguing about, or is it values?" Well, Mr. Speaker, an editorial entitled "A New Ethic for Medicine and Society" in California Medicine, Volume 113, September 1970, on pages 67 and 68. And they talk about the tradition of the Western ethic has always placed great emphasis on the intrinsic worth and equal value of every human being, regardless of its stage or condition. This ethic has the blessing of the Judeo-Christian heritage and has been the basis of most of our laws and much of our social policy. The reverence for each and every human life has also been a keystone of Western medicine and is the ethic which caused physicians to try to preserve, protect, repair, prolong, and enhance every human life which comes under their surveillance. Now they talk about a switch that was going on in society. The process of eroding the old ethic and substituting the new has already begun. It may be seen most clearly in changing attitudes towards human abortion. In defiance of the long-held Western ethic of intrinsic and equal value of every human life, regardless of its stage, status, or condition, abortion is becoming accepted by society as moral, right, and even necessary. And I'll just stop for a second. Hippocrates was not an agent of some Vatican conspiracy. When 600 years before Christ, he said he would not give a woman a pessary to induce abortion. Since the old ethic has not yet been fully displaced, it has been necessary to separate the idea of abortion from the idea of killing, which continues to be socially abhorrent. The result has been a curious avoidance of the scientific fact, which everyone really knows, that human life begins at conception and is continuous, whether intra or extrauterine, until death. The very considerable semantic gymnastics which are required to rationalize abortion as anything but the taking of a human life would be ludicrous if they were not often put forth under socially impeccable auspices. It is suggested that this schizophrenic sort of subterfuge is necessary because while a new ethic is being accepted, the old one has not yet been rejected. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Are there further resolutions or motions under Rule 39? If not, the clerk will call the calendar.
Calendar for the Virginia House of Delegates for Friday, January 15th, 2016, page 1, memorial resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. The memorial resolutions to be adopted in block are listed on pages 1 through 7 of the printed calendar, with the exception of HJ 22, 23, 53, and 89.
Does any member wish to remove a resolution from the block? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting en bloc the memorial resolutions laid on the Speaker's table, as listed on pages 1 through 7 of the calendar, with the exception of HJR 22, 23, 53, and 89, will please rise. Resolutions are agreed to.
Continuing with the calendar, page 7, printed version, commending resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. The commending resolutions to be adopted in block are listed on pages 7 through 19, with the exception of House Joint Resolutions 42 and 68, as well as with the exception of House Resolutions 51 through 58 and 69 and 70.
Does any member wish to remove a resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the commending resolutions laid on the Speaker's table on pages 7 through 19 of the calendar, with the exception of HJR 42, 68, 51 through 58, 69, and 70, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Those resolutions are agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, that completes the calendar.
Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communications?
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. Simply remind the body one last time, printed calendar, the budget amendment and the bill drafting deadlines today at 5. Also, just remind the body, today's the first day we did commending and memorial resolutions. Change in the rules and the procedure resolution allows members to co-patron those, anything that we passed, up until 1 hour after consideration by the other body. Typically, the other body handles commending memorials on Thursday. So for all those that passed today, you have until next Thursday if you wish to co-patron, which is a change in policy and procedures from years past for those who have been here before. Looking to today's meetings, as the chairman said, appropriations, they will be meeting 1/2 hour after adjournment of the House up on the 9th floor appropriations room. Today's Courts of Justice Committee meeting is canceled. Looking ahead to next week, Monday, January 18th, Martin Luther King Day, we will begin. First meeting is at 7 a.m., Transportation Subcommittee number 1. They'll be meeting in the 5th floor East Conference Room at the GAB. At 8 a.m., the Privileges and Elections Subcommittee on the Constitution will be meeting at 8 o'clock, 5th floor West Conference Room. The Committee on Education will meet at 8:30 in House Room D. The Committee on Finance will meet at 8:30 in the 9th floor Appropriations Room, 8:30 on Monday. Also, the Science and Technology Committee will be meeting at 10 a.m. in House Room C. The Democratic Caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in House Room 2. The Republican Caucus will meet in House Room 1. Mr. Speaker, that is all the announcements that I have.
I'd like to take a moment to introduce, or recognize, don't need to introduce, a former colleague of ours who now serving in Washington and is visiting with us today, Congressman Robert Whitman from the Congressional 1st District. Rob, good to have you back. The gentleman from Colonial Heights.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adjourn today to adjourn to reconvene Monday, January the 18th at 12 noon.
Gentleman from Colonial Heights, Mr. Cox moves that when the House adjourned today, it adjourned to reconvene on Monday, January 18th at 12 noon. As many as favor that motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. That motion is agreed to. Gentleman from Colonial Heights, Mr. Cox.
Mr. Speaker, I move the House do now adjourn.
Gentleman from Colonial Heights, Mr. Cox moves the House do now adjourn. As many as favor that motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. That motion is agreed to. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon on Monday, January 18th.